Hi everybody, and welcome to 70 by 70 Travels. I'm Petra, and my husband Josh is not here with us today, so I'm going solo. Today we're going to talk about the Schengen rules. What does it mean if you're traveling Europe and you hear about the Schengen rules? 90 out of every 180 days. What does that specifically mean? We have referenced Schengen in our past videos, but have not talked about it in the manner of which it deserves. So today, that's what we're going to talk about.
Hi, we're Josh and Petra, early retirees traveling the world slowly while sharing honest insights about retirement and life on the road. Join us and share in the journey.
So if you are dreaming about traveling across Europe for months, there is that one rule that you need to make sure that you understand, the Schengen rule, because without it, it could derail your travel plans. So many travelers assume that they can just move from country to country and stay indefinitely until they realize that Europe treats certain countries as one travel zone. And there are 29 countries that make up Schengen at this current recording. More and more countries are applying to be part of the Schengen travel zone. So, which means if you are visiting one or several of these 29 countries, they are not counted as separate countries. They are counted as one travel country. So in the video, I'm going to talk about exactly what are the Schengen rules, how the 90 out of 180 day rule actually works, the mistakes that travelers make, and how you can legally travel around Europe long term without getting banned. So let's go ahead and break that down. First, let's start with the basic. The Schengen Area is a group of 29 countries that have removed their border controls between each other. So that means once you've entered a Schengen zone, you can travel between these countries without going through immigration again. You can think of it as almost like traveling within the United States. So for example, once you're inside the Schengen area, you can travel from places like France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Portugal, Greece, the Netherlands, Austria, and many more. And when you're traveling through these countries and into one of the other Schengen countries, you don't have to show your passport at the border. It feels like one big country from a travel perspective, but here's where the rule comes in. Because these countries operate as one zone, you're allowed to stay either in one country or within the area as a total number of days, meaning you can't stay 90 days in every country. The Schengen zone as a whole, you can stay 90 days out of every 180. The main rule most travelers need to know is this. You can stay in the Schengen area, again, for that 90 days out of a 180-day period. So you can spend a maximum of 90 days within the Schengen zone and then leave for a period of time and come back. It's not 90 days per country. It's not 90 days per trip. It's 90 days total across the entire Schengen zone. So if you spent 30 days in France, 30 days in Italy, and 30 days in Spain, you've used all of your 90 days. At that point, you must leave the Schengen area. And you cannot return until enough time has passed that your earlier days start dropping off in that 180-day window. This is the part that confuses most travelers. The 180-day period is not fixed. It is a rolling window. That means every single day, immigration officials can look back at 180 days from that day and count how many days you were inside the Schengen zone. Let's look at an example. So for example, imagine you entered Europe on April 1st and you stay for 90 days. So you would have to leave by June 29th. You've now used your allowance of 90 days. You cannot just simply return July 1st. Instead, you have to wait until the days from April start dropping outside of that 180-day window. So for most travelers, that means waiting another 90 days outside of the Schengen area before returning. So this is why many long-term travelers alternate between Schengen countries and non-Schengen countries. So here is a useful trick for long-term travelers, or if you want to just travel for a long period of time in Europe, such as like a gap year, right? There are several European countries that are not part of the Schengen zone. This means that time spent in those countries do not count towards those 90 days. Some popular non-Schengen countries include the United Kingdom, Ireland, Albania, Montenegro, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, I know I said that wrong, I apologize, Turkey, and the country of Georgia. So many travelers will spend 90 days inside Schengen, then move to one of these other countries that I have mentioned for a few months before they can return to a Schengen country. So this strategy allows people to travel Europe for a year or longer while staying legal. So what happens if you overstay, right? Overstaying your Schengen visa can cause serious problems. Depending on the situation, you could face fines, deportation, entry bans, or even just having difficulty entering Europe in the future. And remember, because the countries share immigration data, an overstay in one country affects the entire Schengen area. So it's very important that you track your days carefully. Many travelers use Schengen calculators online to avoid the mistake. So if you want to stay longer than 90 days, there are a few legal options. Some travelers apply for long stay visas, digital nomad visas, student visas, or even residency permits. These are issued by individual countries, not the Schengen zone as a whole. So if you do obtain a long stay visa for a country like France or Spain, you may be able to live there for several months or even a year, but the rule varies by country. So just to recap, the Schengen area is a group of European countries with open borders. Most travelers can stay 90 days within a 180-day period across the entire zone. The clock is rolling, which means every day counts. And if you want to travel long-term in Europe, the key is learning how to balance time inside and outside of the Schengen area. So for anybody planning extended travel or slow travel in Europe, you need to understand this rule, as it is essential. Because the last thing that you want to do is reach your dream destination and you're told that you're not allowed in. So if you found this information helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bells. And if you have found a different way besides the online Schengen calculators that you were able to track your time in Schengen versus outside of Schengen, please let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. We love reading our comments from those that are watching, and we try to answer every single one of them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the post.